Hello and welcome and welcome and hello and hello and welcome and good evenings and greetings and salutations and buenas noches. It's un poco mas, the show where we come right at you, full send, give you just a little bit more. We don't want to give you too much. Like I said, we don't want to ruin your supper. We don't want to get you upset. We don't want to upset your moms and your wives and all that stuff. But guys, it's un poco mas. It's the Sofi Stock. It's ticker symbol SOFI. Let's get into the. Finally, the SoFi stocks made just a little move up into the respectable range, kind of at least within striking distance, within sniffing distance, within spitting distance of something resembling a fair value on the stock, guys. So let's do it. 3, 2, 1, let's poco. Guys, thanks for joining me. It's un poco mas. It is Danny Deals. Want to thank J Money Not a Lurker for producing the show. As always, we would like to thank Alberto Bertie Avalez for both moderating the show and for getting. I'm still fascinated by what happened to his nephew. Came on once, got a wrench, and never seen him again. So we technically have 3 moderators, but I can't remember the third one's name because. I don't know. Alberto has him on some kind of a crazy Harley tour of the lower half of the country where they go around, buying options, doing crazy things, just making money hand over fist. I don't know, guys. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. Let's talk SoFi. So the great thing is we're up on moderate volume, 36 million shares traded. I wouldn't say that's, ideal. It's even a little bit less than ideal, but what I'm noticing, guys, is there's just no sellers in this stock, even at this level. It doesn't matter what they do. The algo's clearly working. They're trying to work the stock in a flat line. They're obviously trying to keep it under 1050. I mean, that's where a lot of calls are. The puts are weak. They're not even in it. The short ratio is going down. The shorts that are left are sort of hung out to dry, in my opinion. I think the longs are clearly in charge. I mean, companies like Vanguard, BlackRock, Morgan Stanley, these companies have unlimited money. And when I look at the shorts, they have unlimited downside. And they've been taking an absolute beating. So 36 million shares, I'd rather see, 45 million. I'd rather see a few more buyers in the stock. But it's just encouraging that, whatever they do in terms of volume, a little more borrowing, a little less borrowing, red day, green day, the stock's still going up. Because if you notice the FinTurds, the upstarts, Affirm was up a little bit under 1%, but it's kind of mixed on the growth stocks. PayPal was just barely up, but some of the credit cards were down. Upstart was down. Upstart's valuation is just ridiculous. I mean, Upstart's valuation is stupid. They don't make any money. They're really not showing any growth. I don't know. I just don't get how that business is worth $5 billion and SoFi is worth $11 billion. It's just ridiculous. I don't even think those companies are going to be around in a few years. What they do is too easy. It's too obvious. You want to talk about no USP. You want to talk about no there. You want to talk about no meat on the bone. You want to talk about all berries, no twig. You want to talk about all taters, no meat. I mean, that's these other FinTurd companies without a bank charter. What do they do? I mean, they originate and lay off loans. Oh, Catfish in the house. Good to see you, Catfish. Catfish is absolutely blowing up. Check out his channel, guys. It's all inclusive. I don't even know how to describe it. It's like a one man act. Meets day trading, meets long-term investing, meets anecdotes, meets music, original music, covers, mashups. Dude, go check out Catfish's channel. I mean, it's a hoot. That's the best way I can describe it. I mean, the guy's just fucking awesome. So go check out Catfish, guys. One of the earliest guys I started watching on YouTube when I started looking at SoFi U-Turders and such. One of the things I wanted to express, basically people are concerned with the slope of this line. I mean, if you go way in, You see, obviously, the stock has broken out, consolidated here above 10, and then continued to march upward unabated. And people are very, very concerned, and I'm concerned as well, that this is unsustainable. Now, the difference is we've got some consolidation around 10, a couple of red days even. Things had a chance to shake out. People had a chance to sell. You made a market right here. I would call this making a market. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then back up. Anybody who wanted to get out of the stock, anybody who wanted to make a move, anybody who wanted to short it, you had plenty of time to short it. There wasn't any pressure. It wasn't like one of these pump and dumps where you had to make a decision on everything within an hour or something like that. It wasn't that at all. Guys, I just want to pull back. If you see how this stock fell from this high here back in, middle of November 2021 to this low here in May 2022, you're talking about a fall. And I know the whole market was doing this. I know SPAC mania. I know what was going on. I know the context. But you're talking about over 80% drop, $20 drop in 6 months. And honestly, if you look at the slope of this trend line, does it look familiar? I mean, it might be 1 or 2 degrees less steep than this line, maybe 3 degrees, but it's not much. And these lines have a tendency to tweak over time. And if you look, this always sort of balances out. This will pull back. This is to the left of the line. There will be something to the right of the line. That's just how these things work. That's how these algos operate. They deviate and then they revert back to the mean. They pull back like a magnet. They do it with other people's money. So it's fun. But that's why I keep saying this stock can easily go to 1360, even before, not before earnings at this point, that's too soon, but right after earnings, because all of this is just a completely pre-programmed algo sell-off that's dumping 80% of the stock's value in 6 months. The only thing that means anything to me on this chart coming back is this area. I mean, high 13s, the very tail end of it where I think it could hit some resistance around 1360. But that's not a crazy move at all, guys, at all. The stock should have never been at $4. This is like all this macro, all this FUD. If you actually look at the earnings report, if you actually look at the member growth, none of the stuff they said was happening at SoFi or was going to happen at SoFi, it never happened. That's my concern. Now the narrative is that they don't even talk about, balance sheet concerns because Anthony Noto has built up the balance sheet on a war footing. Sorry, guys, my laundry. But no, Noto has been on a war footing. And if you see the slope of this line, sorry, I think I accidentally deleted it. It's very, very similar. This stock makes huge moves. I described again to you the 120% move the stock made in 1 month. If it makes a similar move, even less move, it'll be well over 1360. And 1 month would put it just after the earnings report. Stock should have never been down here, guys. Institutions have known that the whole time. This is one of those SPACs, one of the rare, one of the few that was actual quality. That was actually a good company with a good business model, with good management, actually on the cutting edge, right place, right time, extremely good decisions, extreme foresight, getting the bank charter. Extremely important. It's become more important all the time. The stadium deal. A lot of people criticize that, guys. I've been out to SoFi Stadium a few times this year already. It's incredible. It's making SoFi a household name. They're building condos. They're building a whole city, mixed use, shopping. It's completely transforming Inglewood. I mean, some would say not for the better if you lived there before. But my point is, guys, SoFi Stadium, that complex, Hollywood Park, it's becoming the entertainment center of Los Angeles, or it already is. You have YouTube Theater there. You have the new Clippers Arena just a block away, half a block away. I mean, this is becoming what they wanted to do with downtown Los Angeles. And SoFi Stadium is the center of everything. I know it was expensive, but it takes huge balls to make a decision like that. And I happen to have it on good information from a reliable source that our executives, at least the male executives, have huge balls. But this is a family channel. It's a family restaurant. Supreme Court has roundly rejected prior restraint. Anyway, guys, I always need a timeout, but no one can put a beard this awesome in a timeout. You cannot stop a beard that awesome. You can only hope to contain it, much like the shooting of a Scotty Skiles. So let me just get you turds a check of the live short interest because I know you guys live for that. The shorts are not digging in. Okay, they borrowed a few shares today. They returned 5-6 million yesterday. They borrowed 1 million so far today. I wouldn't doubt they'll return a few of those. Cost to borrow minimum back in the negative. So again, it's some broker out there paying somebody to short SoFi. Now, I don't know how you guys would interpret this. Fintel says the short is quite a bit higher. Ortex has it down to 16%. I don't know how accurate that is. They have the short interest around 169 million, but the shares on loan only 144 million. So you either have like naked shorting, a short long scenario, the data is just not catching up. But utilization very low, short score 63. Fintel has a short score, I think, right around 67. Another interesting thing that just kind of struck me as odd was like Zolmax, who's one of these gossip rags of the wire. Like they put out these like stories on the wires over and over again. It's Citibank lowers SoFi Technologies to hold. Citibank lowers SoFi Technologies to 11. But if you look at the call, Citibank actually raised from 11 to 1250 to a buy. So I don't know. This is all over the wire. It's just endless FUD. I don't know. I'm sure it was like an honest mistake and they just reversed it and saw it the wrong way. But either way, I wish like Ortex would get on top of some of this data because, in fact, it was a raise to 1250, which is very important because Citibank, as being a mega bank, as supposedly professional analysts that might be slightly more objective than some of these third-rate analyst houses like a Wedbush or a Compass Point. Some of these guys down at $3 and $4. Even though their EPS estimates and revenue estimates and stuff don't really reflect, those type of numbers. Seems to be, and they would always sort of re-rate after any positive rating. I think, the Chia Pet's boss has taken away his re-rating privileges and just told him to STFU. Sit in your office and come out when I tell you. No, I know the guy's a professional, but it starts to make no sense, like a child throwing a tantrum. You're just unable to admit when you're wrong. Okay, if you want to, go full Midwest values at Morgan Fudley and be at 6, or, some of these companies at 7, but it's like, to have a price target that's just over like next year's sales, company's probably going to be growing 25%. EBITDA increasing rapidly. Basically your only criticism at this point is, they use fair value accounting. Fair value accounting, spooky. Ooh, nobody understands it. And then you start to drill down, like that guy, the guy sent you the link the other day, and it's like his argument is full of logical fallacies. And then the most obvious one is, well, why isn't the phenomenon you're describing in theory, why isn't it happening in the real world? Because these loans have been higher for longer for years now, and the duration of the loans isn't very long. So it should be crashing and burning already. Why isn't it happening? Nobody asked the question. Why do people get to sort of give these, wide-ranging kind of philosophical, I don't know if it's the right word, but esoteric, like it's just, they just put pieces of arguments together that sound like they make sense. But if you start to take apart the 90 minutes of psychobabble and gibberish about, how you came here and your eyebrow maintenance and, your yearly budget on long sleeve rugby shirts or stuff like that, or, why you're so bitter at SoFi and why you're still kind of a low level analyst at Wedbush after a long, long career. These people are smarter and more successful than me, but let's face it, some people have an axe to grind. And there's a lot more going on the surface. Yeah, you could say, oh, it creates buying opportunities. But another side of that coin would say it creates artificial dips in the stock at behest of market makers so they can play their little shenanigans with weak returners. And that's what I say. You guys, the turd army, un poco mas nation, if you will, I might even be willing to invite in the Canadian FinTurd Alliance. No, the Canadian FinTurd Mafia is certainly well above my pay grade. Birdie swinging the wrench, banning everybody. Hopefully he didn't ban the great catfish. Theoretically, Birdie could even ban the great Noto lurker, the great J Money. Punch above his pay grade, if you will. Birdie wants to ban everybody. That's his right as a moderator. I don't encourage that type of behavior, but, I gave him the wrench and I turned him loose. It's the rats on a ship theory, guys. God sent us off into the world and gave us free will, and I sent Birdie out with a wrench. He can ban you, J Money. He can ban you. I gave him authority. No, respect my authority. Anyway, guys, so what do you make of the short interest? What do you make of the lower borrowing, the higher short interest, the higher numbers on Fintel? Any new article? I haven't even had a chance to check this stuff, guys. This was a really good article, by the way. We went over this yesterday. Business turning around, accelerating. 2025 looks amazing. I read that at a high rate of speed. You saw the re-rate from Citibank. The only other thing I want to just note, this is pretty low for SoFi. 30 for any other stock that's high. A short volume ratio, but any company this good, it's usually not shorted like 17 to 20% of the free float. So this is pretty unusual, but you're starting to see some days in the low 30s, 29, starting to see some covering. They wanted to step on it again, on Friday. It came up a little bit more, but you see just an unmistakable trend. This number had been in the 50s, 60s at times, even 70s. To one degree or another, at least the smarter ones, the shorts are giving up. They never really did that before other earnings reports. You see them short right into earnings, see that number 50, 60% routinely. This tells me at least some of them are getting out of the way. They see the piano falling. I was thinking I've read a lot of books on CEOs, investors. I was trying to think as the biography of an Anthony Noto, somebody who went to the United States military academy, top of his class, engineering. His background, just tenaciousness, hard work, great hair, windbreakers, adjusted EBITDA. Having Noto at the helm of this young company that I believe is built for massive success, but requires, critical more years of execution to sort of get through that danger zone, get to the point where we're just printing money. It's a self-sustaining economy, similar to what they were able to develop at Patty's Pub. If you are familiar with Mac and Dennis and the gang. But anyway, guys, welcome and hello and welcome. Of course it is. You have stumbled upon Un Poco Mas. It's your boy, DJ Patchy Drizzle. I come in with a whimper and you don't even know when I leave. That's how quiet the party is. It's barely even a party. You will not wake up the neighbors, guaranteed. No noise complaints here. It's DJ Patchy Drizzle looking to do all your octogenarian birthday parties and above. Anything at a nursing home, that's more our speed. It's DJ Patchy Drizzle on the ones and twos. In fact, we don't even have any ones and twos. We just play elevator music because you're all asleep. Anyway, guys, welcome and hello and welcome and hello and welcome. Zone Poco Mas. Let's take a look at Maximum Pain. Interesting here. Okay, open interest, guys. Only 25,000 contracts at 11. I know that seems like a lot, but obviously they'll be looking to kill those. 23,000 at 1050, even 9,000 contracts down at 10, which is pretty weak. So obviously, bulls looking to push this thing at least, make those bad Oscars print. Bears, not too weak, but they're obviously wanting to defend 10. That ship has sailed. What do they got at 1050? 8,000. So yeah, puts, especially volume, it's weak. It's weak at 1050, 7,000 contracts. I mean, even at 1050, there's 2x the volume on calls as there are at puts, and there's a fair amount of puts down here at 10, but This is not showing me that bears have any type of conviction. This is showing me that bulls are in charge of the stock, wanting to compound their profits with some fast calls while they push this thing higher. I mean, let's face it, if like Vanguard and BlackRock and some of these companies want to push the stock higher in concert with Anthony Noto, they're going to do it. And whoever is behind all this senior secured note money, I mean, these are the dark lords of the universe. These are the market makers behind the market makers, the guy behind the guy behind the guy you don't even see, the black hand. Remember those like shitty like Jack Reacher movies? It's like the guy who like ate off his fingers in the Siberian prison camp. Like the whole thing just makes no sense. Like, what's going on? It's a giant conspiracy so big. It's in every city. They control all the elections. He's like, I'm wearing 6-inch lifts in my cowboy boots. He's like, I know. That's the movie. It's like the Transporter movies. You could have nipped that one right in the bud. He's like, just comes into the bar, whatever. There's all these like tall, like Dutch guys doing karate and parkour, fucking shaping their facial hair and fucking shadow boxing. He's like, do you need a transporter? It's like, no, you seem like a terrible actor. Everyone leave theater. It's like, I just saved you all 90 minutes. Do you believe they've made 7 of these movies in this franchise? Like, these action movies they're fucking terrible. I don't know what to tell you. The Transporter franchise. Don't even get me started on the fucking Fast and the Furious franchise. Now, rest in peace, Paul Walker. I know it's too fucking soon. He's a good guy. He was a good guy. I'm fucking. It's not a personal thing, but the thing is fucking terrible. Vin Diesel, like a 65-year-old bloated Vin Diesel. Like, I would be in the muscle. Like, my car flies. Like, whoa, whoa. I mean, I know I'm doing Stallone, not Vin Diesel, but it's like it's kind of the same thing. Like, hey, dumb. Like, it's dumb. I just don't fucking get it. Like, what's wrong with young people? Except, like, at least we had good comedies. I mean, back in the 80s, when things were cool, before the internet, before smartphones, when there were a few fat kids around, bumping around. You know, not everybody just... you little kids he's on the smartphone, programming code, eating quinoa smoothies. Hey, is that boba? Oh, that looks good now. Now it's quinoa. Boba's got a lot of sugar. What are you, like 2 years old? I'm 1.5. You fat fuck. Jeez. Got a mouth on you. Nice to meet you, kid. I'm not your kid. Fuck off. It's like, some of these kids are pretty hostile. No, nice kids, though. Nice kids. So anyway, Max Payne, 950. Like I said, I've told you this for a few weeks now. When you're in a bull run, Max Payne doesn't mean that much because it's kind of a trailing thing. Everybody's trying to roll those options forward, buy more time, extend their strikes. So everybody's trying to sort of jockey for position. It's a little bit harder because there's a limited open interest. So there's a little less market for these options, probably a little bit less liquidity. I don't know. I'm always playing calls both ways. I buy and sell options. I don't really get into my system because my system is just chaotic and idiotic, and it wouldn't really make sense to anybody else the way I sort of hedge and the way I do things. It's just SoFi, I basically have zero hedge on this stock. I just go full, long shares, been selling puts, buying calls, just running them up, 300, 400% profits. It's just been, it's been a gravy boat with biscuit wheels, but it's been very tough last few years. But, if you know how to do it, you know how to do it, and you're just trying to make money all the time. But now this last run, if you're levered up or whatnot, you should have been making a hell of a lot of money, because this wasn't even the move yet. This is just getting us back to SPAC levels. Institutions want to bully you. They want your shares at 6. They want to short from 680, 620, and then bully you out of the stock in the high fives. What happened though? Retail is a lot smarter than they were, pre-COVID. There's people doing a lot of research. There's a lot of idiots on the internet teaching people a lot of stuff. that probably market makers and institutions wish most retail investors didn't know. But most retail investors just don't panic on these like 20-30% dips now. They buy the dip in a company like SoFi, and it completely ruins the scams, these, you know, shorts and bears, along with their 2-bit shill analysts and authors and you know, Lester Diamond type country club golf hustlers are running at us day after day after day, and they made a lot of money. He made a lot of money. This kid used to shine shoes. He was really good at it too. Like, I don't know if you heard, you've been away a long time. I don't shine shoes no more, Billy. I'm messing with you, having a good time. It's a party. Now go on home and get your fucking shine. You motherfucker. Anyway, guys, welcome and hello, and welcome to those of us just joining. Those of you just joining us, sorry I can't talk that well. It's been, I don't know, I don't want to say it's been like a long week. It's only Tuesday. But, you know, the days were long and forlorn. No, guys, everything's good. But I'm just kind of sick and tired of being sick and tired, and actually am sick and tired. Oh, thank God for Princess J. We have actual real sparkling water. Oh, I got my Shine Box Oprah's thick web bag. I have my Shine Box in case all my stocks crash. I'll go back to shining shoes. I'm not above it. Not above an honest day's work, guys. See my new SoFi hat if you want to see. Where'd you get it? I got it at SoFi Stadium. But you can order it on the, you know, I think the Stadium store online or something. You can get them. This one is designed by Tyler Macue. Anyway, we got Rodolfo Araya. Tuesday is long. And yeah, I hear you, man. I wish we had a 2-day work week and a 5-day weekend, man. Let's reverse that shit. Flip it. Bow down, flip it, and reverse it. When you work it, don't want to work it. Don't want to go to work today. Rather listen to Missy Elliott do some weird chair dancing. Anyway, guys, we got Kid Shaw doing analysis on Neo Golden Cross. What is that, like a sex thing? No, yeah, Golden Cross. I mean, that's obviously, you guys know, where the 50-day simple moving average crosses over the 200-day simple moving average, and the theory obviously being that you're getting near-term momentum that's accelerating past the sort of trailing share price. So it's like the stock is hot, you know, the stock is hot, the stock is going up at a much faster rate than it was before. It's reversed, whatever. It's basically supposed to be a very, very bullish indicator. I mean, I think Neo, people laughed at me when I said this. People laughed at me when I said SoFi was going to 1013 before the earnings or right after the earnings. And I drew a little sun on my chart a couple weeks ago. And what do you know? The price action like went right through my little target. So you can laugh now and say I'm a big fat idiot, and you will, and people do, and that's absolutely fine. You have First Amendment right to call me whatever you want. Sticks and stones probably won't break my bones. I'll probably hit me with a stick. I'll probably punch you right in your head. But anyway, I've been hit with a lot worse than a stick. Hit with baseball bats, lead pipes, many things, mag lights. I don't know. I've had so many things thrown at me. It's not even funny. Whenever you're a big fat bouncer, people like to sucker punch you. Hey, let's go have 10, 12 drinks and go punch that fat guy in the back of the head. It's like, affirmative. That sounds like a plan. Anyway, yeah, so Neo Golden Cross sexting. No, that was a stupid joke, man. But yeah, it's I'll do a Neo video. I don't know if I'll do one tonight. Maybe I'll do one tomorrow. But I expect Neo to go up to 15 in the near term. That stock is loaded. I mean, SoFi went from 28 down to 450. Neo went from like 65 down to 3. And similar to SoFi, the fundamentals looked a little bit sketchy in terms of the macro, the federal regulation, etc. But they have really righted the ship. I mean, this Envo car looks amazing. I mean, I know the margins are still not where they need them to be, but they're slightly improving. We have to see when the ER comes out. But yeah, I'll talk Neo. I love Neo right now. Yeah, Catfish. I'm trying to get some sleep, man. Stop drinking so much ridiculous coffee. It just, you know, I want to be around for a while, but there's just too much stress, too much to do, too much work, too much business, too much life. Trying to make it all fit together, as you guys know. I mean, probably many of you guys are at least as busy as me or busier. And I got different businesses going on, different acquisitions, trying to keep clients happy, everyone else happy. Obviously, the beautiful, amazing Princess J, trying to keep her happy, but it's difficult when you got to put up with a big lug like me. It's just life, man. Life comes at you fast, and trying to keep up on everything is almost impossible, much less trying to keep up on all the stocks I own, which is just way too many. That's why, guys, I only buy quality. I only buy a stock, like I used to call them coma stocks. Because if I go in a coma and I wake up 3 years from now, my portfolio is going to be absolutely fine. I don't have any trades I'm in just artificially for like 3 months or 1 month. I mean, sometimes it works out that way because the stock goes way up or it goes way down. Something completely unexpected happens. But as far as my portfolio is concerned, I'm building my house out of bricks. You know, this is one of those stocks I think you could just completely forget about it, come back to it in 10 years and be wealthy. You know, have your kids come back to it in 20 years because this is like a snowball rolling downhill at this point. They've proven that they can build this business model, that they can weather adverse conditions, that they can grow membership in any conditions, that deposits are growing rapidly. I mean, the writing is on the wall. The snowball is rolling downhill, and it's going to turn into a motherfucking wiki avalanche. An avalanche of profit, cash flow, revenues. You can see by the business model, no real estate, light head count, easy to change the head count, everything in-house, the vertical integration. You saw the cost. SoFi hasn't talked a lot about the cost savings they're going to realize internally from Galileo, but if you remember that, it was like 80 million per year, 85 million, then it should be 115, 130 million per year after a certain point. Galileo is going to pay for itself over time, guys. This company's not going anywhere. It's going to be growing and making money for decades and decades to come. Noto is a genius with numbers, with deals. He designed this business model from the ground up to make himself one wealthy SOB. And he's going to take us with him. Guys, a lot of us, we weathered the storm. And this is like, people are like, I'm back to even. Should I dump now? Is this it? This was not a pump like the last couple of pumps. Look at the difference. It's never made a move like this with consolidation. First off, this stock, if you look at the history of the stock, it has never been in this type of an ascending wedge at all to break through like this. It's never been in an ascending wedge. Show me one. Maybe a little, you could make a couple arguments here and here, maybe here, but this is very loose. It's like a loose stool. Sloppy. Sloppy. You kids like some sloppy. The Lunch Lady song. Adam Sandler. Oh my God. So many weird things kicking around in my head. But you never had an ascending wedge before to break out with. These pumps are not the same thing. You see this guy? This is trying to consolidate, falls off a cliff, gaps back down. Same thing here. Falls off a cliff, gaps back down. That was a pump. These are pump and dumps. These are market makers playing games. And it's failing at that line. It's failing at that line. This right here, the downtrend changed to an uptrend, but making higher highs. Stock breaks out, expecting it right here, guys. This is the candle. This is the candle right here. The first red candle. This next red candle should have been a lot bigger, and then it should have gapped down back into the wedge. Didn't happen. Consolidated for about 5 days, back up. A lot of strength on moderate volume. Absolutely no sellers in the stock at $10, at $10.04, at $10.08, at $10.13. I mean, you could have had $10.50 here. Way back on $10.15. I mean, I know that's not that long ago. But now this is 1, 2, 3, 4 days in a row making higher highs. 4 days in a row making higher lows. Again, the momentum continues unabated. This is not a lot to pay for this company. This is less than 4x forward sales, next year's sales. should be paying maybe 8 times. That's what this thing's really worth. If you look at this business model, and you look at the fact that Galileo hasn't paid yet. It will. It's like if you go, you buy a ticket in a horse race, they're treating Galileo like a ticket that's already been a loser, that you crumble it up and throw it around. There's that little guy in a little hat who's running around trying to find a little bit of a cigarette butt that's not smoked, and he's checking all the tickets. Can I check your tickets? I wouldn't have fucking crumbled it up and thrown it away if it was a winner. What do I look like, fucking idiot? All right, I didn't really want you to answer. That was a rhetorical question. Well, I'm the cigarette butt guy. I'll give you an answer. I don't necessarily want an answer. I'm very blunt. I'm direct. What do I have to lose? Picking up cigarette butts. I'm drinking floaters here. I'm drinking floaters. What do you want from me? I'm a little cabbie hat. I'm drinking floaters. I can't even afford a shine box. A couple pieces of plywood, nails, above my pay grade. Oh, guys, what the fuck am I talking about? I have no idea. Aquavita, water of life. This is Pellegrino, water of Italy. I'll tell you something about sparkling water, though. It's very low class in a plastic bottle. I mean, you may as well be drinking a fucking First Street from Smart and Final. You're nothing. You're nothing. I'm driving around in my poop brown 15-year-old CRV. I'm not fooling anybody. Nobody's rolling down their window asking me if I have any gray poupon. Just because I have a fucking sparkling water. Like, hey, Mom, is that fat guy somebody important? He's like, no, honey, that bottle's plastic. He's just another fat peon in a cheap economy car on his way to a job he hates, probably thinking about driving into oncoming traffic. Now, what would you kids like for dinner? Let's go to Whole Foods. Welcome and hello and welcome. Danny may want to read the Wharton Magazine article on Anthony Noto. Yeah, I've heard a lot about that one, Catfish. Thank you, and I haven't read it. So I will. I saw Tanner's video, Chasing the Dream. I've read his bio. I watched every interview he's ever given. But yeah, I'll definitely check out that article. Much appreciated there. Catfish. By the way, guys, if you haven't gone on over to Catfish's channel, go ahead and subscribe to Catfish. Like I said, it's multimedia madness. You get live streams that go on all day. You're clinging to the brink. You're clinging to your sanity, but you just can't look away because it's just that compelling. It's that compelling. Go subscribe to Catfish, guys. Get on it. Let's see. We got the great thank you, Not a Lurker. That'll be a link down in the comments. Or I don't know, wherever. I don't know how you do that. Oh, no, Not a Lurker. Yeah, right there in the comments. Magazine, Wharton, UPenn, EDU, Issues, Fall Winter, 2024. SoFi CEO, Anthony Noto, WG99. Hyphen is reshaping, hyphen finance, hyphen. Yeah, you guys get it. So it's right over there in the comments. Just look for Not a Lurker. If you guys aren't familiar with him, Not a Lurker, J Money. He's one of our moderators, also our producer. Perhaps you know him from dominating the comment section of every single FinTurd show on YouTube. They say 90% of life is just showing up. Well, let me tell you, Not a Lurker's got that down. And if the other 10% is shaving your head in a beautiful pattern, he's got that down pat too. He's got pretty much 90 plus 100, 90 plus 10 equals 100. He's all there. Anyway, guys, welcome and hello and welcome. I have absolutely no idea. You're very welcome, Catfish. I still want to get Catfish on my show, play some guitar, sing some songs. I was playing around with a little welcome and hello intro, like welcome and hello, welcome and hello. No, that one's horrible, but I was playing around with a few things. Like, we got to get some intro songs, we got to get some bumper music, we got to get some different things going on. This channel is very static. Like, nobody watches these videos. It's the same freaks. Like, it's okay. People are also asking me, what do I think about Tesla earnings? People sort of used to know me as a Tesla guy, a big Tesla bull. I think of myself as a realist with all stocks. I thought Tesla was going to go way up. I bought it, I think, in 2016. And I've since flipped it a few times. Right now, I'm probably a hold on the stock. I was probably a sell recently at like 260. I was buying the stock not too long ago, like 130. Still like the company. I know Elon Musk is very polarizing, brilliant. I don't know. I think in some ways kind of misguided, but I don't like all the decisions. I just don't like Cybertruck. I thought Cybertruck was a completely unnecessary product, and if they were going to make it, it should have been configured a lot more like a traditional pickup truck. And I know there's certain reasons why they made it certain shape to bend the steel, and it was super efficient. They had the gigapress and all these things, and it's revolutionary. And I'm saying, and I understand all that, but when people compare it to the truck for like the Chevy Silverado and like the truck from BYD, the Shark, it's just, I think those are a lot more mainstream products. I mean, the Cybertruck is extremely cool, but it's a niche product. I mean, a lot of working guys, they're just not going to, but then again, it was all a Fugazi anyway, because they're like, well, when it comes out, there's going to be this variant that's like 50,000 or 40,000 or whatever it was. The cheapest one's like 100 and some thousand or whatever. So it's all bullshit anyway. Never going to be a cheap economy work Cybertruck. There'll probably be other vehicles on the platform and stuff, but I don't think they're going to make that thing in quantity. They should have made the fucking economy car. Like, that's what annoys me about Tesla. Like, so much of it is like vanity stuff. Okay, we got to make the Cybertruck. And I know like the semi, a lot of this stuff's important. I'm not against the truck, but the economy car, and who has, like I said, who has a fucking launch party for a record that's coming out in 3 years? Like, it's like he wanted the stock to sell off, the robo-taxi thing. You bring out this fucking little Honda Civic looking thing and drive it around and then say, hey, it'll be ready in 2027. And then you're like, but I have a bad history with timelines. So it's probably going to be more like 2030 or 2035 or whenever the fuck. Hey, we're going to launch it on Mars. Like, this is what annoys me about Tesla. You're a great fucking company. You have all these things going for you. Battery technology, incredible engineering, thermal management. So much revolutionary stuff, not to get even into this AI, large language models, full self-driving, the robots. I mean, this stuff is going to be incredible, but it's not here yet. Saying they're going to get regulatory approval in Europe and China for FSD next year, I think totally unrealistic. Besides, the Chinese market, they're not the only player with AI, with large language. There's already robo-taxis on like their 10th generation in certain cities in China. And yes, they might not be as sophisticated as Tesla's algorithms and such. I don't know how this got to be the Tesla show, but so many people have been asking me about earnings, what I think is going to happen. Revenues a little bit up, EPS down. I think the stock will sell off to like 202, 203, where I think I'd probably be a buyer, because as interest rates come down, it should recover. Things are looking good in China. Sales were strong in China. Sales were weaker in Europe and the United States. Again, a lot of that due to interest rates. The problem is for them, in terms of the profit, there's a price war in terms of EV in China, so the margins on those Chinese vehicles are going to be significantly lower than vehicles they would have been exporting to Europe or building in Germany for that matter. A lot of the Shanghai vehicles they do export to Europe, or vehicles that they're building and selling in the US, I believe would actually have the highest margins. I might be mistaken about that, but that used to be the case. So anyway, guys, I may do a little bit more study. Tesla I get in and out of, but it's just not one of those stocks I spend a tremendous amount of time studying, because there's so many people on the stock. There's so many good people covering the stock, from Dan Ives to, there's just a million people online that I respect that aren't, the fanboy pumper, napkin math, bald douchebag crowd. They're just telling you, it's inconceivable, it's undeniable. Stock's going to go to 10,000. It's like, hey, mate. Your head straight up your ass. You have no idea what you're talking about. Not going to have some fucking kid in his early 20s explain the facts of life to me, buddy. Not today. Not today, fuckface. Anyway, hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo te llamas? Un poco más, guys. It's un poco más. We're talking SoFi. Let's get back to SoFi. Back to the topic at hand. We talked short volume. We talked insider. Let's just take a look for shits and giggles at who is actually shorting SoFi. It's really usually hard to tell who these people are, because they, set up some bullshit organization. But you got Convergence Long Short Equity ETF. We are 17 LLC, Waller Financial Planning Group, Calmeros Market Neutral Income Fund. I mean, like I said, these are podunk, 2-bit, half-ass, no account, trifling hoes. I mean, these are the bottom of the barrel. Resiax U.S. Strategic Equity Fund Class A. You got to tell people it's Class A. Otherwise, they think it would, they think it would be a warm bag of dog shit. You got the Morningstar Alternatives Fund. That was a tiny position. First Trust. Every time I read these, it's the same shit. It's like, 0.72 is always in there. Chalk and the chigs. Strategic, it's TIFF. TIFF, how dare you? TIFF's one of our viewers, and her investment program is shorting the stock, her multi-asset fund. I hope your golden retriever's not involved, TIFF. That would be a heartbreaker for the whole Pocomoss community. QRP. So you guys get the idea. It's just a bunch of nameless, faceless turds. Of course, Susquehanna, they've been short for a long time. Barclays, they got out of their position. They closed their position. D.E. Shaw is one of the big players. UBS, big short with a put. LMR Partners, it stands for lame, mediocre, and weak. I don't know what R stands for. I couldn't think of anything. But yeah, Citadel, of course, is in there with this massive short position, 16 million. These are some old filings from last quarter, but it's the usual suspects, all these sort of nameless, faceless turds, middle management suck-ups. They're not even on Wall Street. They're in, like, I don't know, somewhere else, probably like Miami or, I don't know, San Diego, La Jolla, some fucking place. Anyway, so that's who's shorting SoFi. Let's just take a look at what they have for the short interest, just because I know a lot of you guys like to harp on the short interest, as do I. They have 181 million shares, 17.32%, and then I don't know, days to cover quite a bit longer at 4.95. And again, we already took a look at the short ratios. The availability, interestingly, it's actually dropped quite a bit below that 10 million point a few times last month. And if these shorts start to cover en masse, you should see these shares tighten up quite a bit. I mean, personally, I can't tell anybody else what to do. I wouldn't seek to. Never give financial advice. Never take financial advice unless you buy my course, the Tebadaki method. But that, of course, as you know, is only for portly traders, chunky stock monkeys, plus-size gentlemen, men of certain proportions, if you will. Like I was telling everybody yesterday, you got to be 18 stone just to get admitted to the course at full price. It's 20 stone, you're in at half price. And if you're 22 stone and above, you actually get free tuition to the Tebadaki method. Anyone who is below those weights, you may be able to buy your way into the 2-week course, but it's going to start around $250,000. But knowledge isn't cheap, but it's important. And I think if you take my course and you're willing to gain a tremendous amount of weight, you could make that $250,000 back very, very quickly. And you better, because you're not going to live that long. You big fathead. Cholesterol is probably through the fucking roof. Hey, Doc, how many times a week should I be eating carne asada fries? Get the fuck out of my office. See you in 6 months, Doc. Ask your doctor a lot of questions. Like, Doc, just don't. If you want, I'm an honest person, so you're gonna ask me a question. You're gonna get an answer. Don't ask me how many quesadillas I had this month. Ask me how many quesadillas I've had today. These are some of the things I grapple with. But all this will be addressed in the Tebadaki method. We're going to be talking, how to manage your quesadilla and fry intake, how to drink less than 10 cups of coffee in the morning time, if that's even possible. You just limit yourself to one strong pot of coffee. The idea is you just make cowboy coffee. So it's like 3 times as strong. So your 10 cups become 30 cups. So you're covered, at least for the morning. Then you get yourself like a Frappuccino in the afternoon. Get yourself, you want whip on that? They barely even ask me because I see the same people like Starbucks. Of course I want fucking whip on that. Don't look all pensive like you don't know that I want whip on it. Your bohemian hair, your fucking cool shoes, and your glasses made out of wood or bone or whatever the fuck. Yeah, I want whip on it. Like get on the loudspeaker. Bart, your latte is ready, and this fat guy here at the counter does want the whip. Shocker. Let me bring the mic over and ask him if he also wants the caramel drizzle. It's like this is what I go through when I'm ordering these like horrible things that I shouldn't even be eating. I feel like the barista is judging me harshly when in fact she couldn't give a fuck. She deals with a lot of fat fucks. Anyway, no, it's like if you're sucking down a 2,000 calorie coffee that's actually just a giant like 20-ounce milk. Did you know also that Starbucks has a bigger size than Venti? They have like a 30-ounce cup. And you can get the milkshake that's 30 ounces. And of course, I jumped on it, but then the manager comes in, explains to me, hey, we just put more ice. What the fuck? I thought I could get like 6 shots of espresso and a Frappuccino, double whip, dip, trip, flip, Fantasia. Off to the races. Anyway, guys, Rocket Labs. I'm not even talking about stocks. I'm not talking about anything. I'm talking about, what it's like to be a fat guy ordering a giant Frappuccino at Starbucks. Yeah, way too much coffee. This has gone completely off the rails. What's going on with Rocket Labs, guys? That's been a very, we have earnings coming up, then presidential election. Rugman is coming. Could be Gilgo, but your name still rhymes with dildo. So I respect you. Your cat respects you. I just don't know if any of the other viewers respect you. But, I have to leave that to their judgment. No, it could definitely be. Is Rugman? I don't know. You mean that's like a rug pull, stock going down? I don't know. Otherwise, I don't know what that means. Who's Rugman? Is that like some kind of like really boring superhero? It's like, what could you possibly need him for? Like, call Rugman. He's like, oh, we have a stain. He's like, or he just like, catches like some criminal and just rolls him up really tight, like an area rug or like a Persian rug. It's like beats on criminals with one of those like rug duster things, like an old lady in a bazaar. Marvel is running out of ideas. It's Rugman. Are you sure that's a superhero? I think he's just the guy here to shampoo the rugs. Like, no, I'm a superhero. It's my costume. Looks just like a carpet cleaner. What the fuck? Anyway, guys, I got to end this broadcast. I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. It's been another sort of lackluster show, aimless, no direction. It's like no direction home, guys. Just a complete unknown. We got Michael Mulligan. Very curious to see if it's a sell the news earnings. Yeah, I mean, it certainly has been, Michael. They've certainly been willing to sell off good ERs. But what do you guys think about EPS? I mean, I'm earnings whisper 6 cents. I've been saying 5, but I mean, of course, I got to be, the ultra mega idiot perma bull in a China shop. So I'm going to go with 6. I mean, I'd be happy with 5. I would be pretty disappointed with less than that. I mean, that's where analysts are. So I don't know. I mean, do they sell off 5 cents EPS? It depends on guidance. And it depends on where that money comes from. If more of that money, more members at Galileo, that's going to be big. Because we need to shift the narrative from just a bank book value to get more where Kramer's talking about, hey, what matters is it's a fintech. It's a technology company. What matters is what we're talking about is this fee-based revenue that is very, very capital light. The company is in a transition. Remember why Noto was so fired up after the last ER? He said something very important. He said, if you're an analyst or you're a reporter and you're willing to do the hard homework, if you're willing to really get down and understand the transition that we have made as a company over the last few years and what this leaves us poised to do over the rest of this decade, it's just going to blow your depends right off of your stinky ass. I mean, that's the type of stuff we want to hear from Noto. Mr. Market only cares about guidance. Mr. Market is one picky, fickle son of a bitch. I mean, a firm, because of the institutional ownership, institutions wanted to run it up. I mean, they just talked about guidance. They didn't even show 1 quarter of transition, and the stock just went insane. 130 million. I mean, SoFi's selling 5 times more than them. They're only worth twice as much. SoFi's making money. They're not. These valuations don't make any sense. I don't get it. I was going to do a video like, what's more overvalued right now? Palantir, Nvidia, Carvana, Upstart, or Tesla. I mean, I don't really think Tesla's overvalued. So that's kind of the thing. I don't think a lot of those stocks are overvalued. So this is kind of going to be a kind of thing to take the temperature of the audience, if you will. Anyway, guys, we held this thing under an hour somehow, some way. I want to thank, of course, Princess J. I want to thank the great producer, moderator, dual role, dual threat player, offense and defense, playing Iron Man, of course. You know him. You love him. He's bald as a cue ball, but number 1 in our hearts. It's not a lurker. And then, of course, Alberto Bertie Avilés. He looks a little bit intimidating with his goatee, but don't worry. He's just selling options to dumb retarders like yourselves. And we'd like to thank him as well. We'd like to thank his nephew, who is disappeared and missing. He took our wrench, and we hope he's acting responsibly with it. Guys, it's SoFi Stock. It's Un Poco Mas. It's me. That's about it. Nobody else here. Peace.